according to SDNA, Itoudis is the front runner to replace Erdem if Efes decides to fire the head coach. And I remember I actually checked out my WhatsApp history, and I got this, I would call it scoop that, hey, watch out, because Efes is considering a coaching change and Itoudis might be the guy. I got it like in the end of December, and I was like, come on, man. They have so many injuries. Usually they stay close in those games against big teams. I mean, why? I mean, it feels like that we are here behind this table. We're bigger Erdem believers if we could combine all the Turkish fans in Turkey and watching their perspective of Erdem. But okay, I'm not trying to set a narrative for this discussion, but Itoudis replacing Erdem in or out, gentlemen?
Well, I'm not out about the idea that Itoudis could be a great coach for Efes, but I'm out with the idea of firing Erdem. Like, if you're trusting a new head coach to build something, maybe he needs patience and just to look at the circumstances he's dealing with injuries. Just recently, they had a crazy 4 overtime record-breaking game in Madrid. They were so close to beating Madrid in visiting center. They were one shot away, or maybe one good possession away in the second overtime and the third overtime.
+9.
So it's kind of unfair to the coach you have right now, and it again brings up the discussion about EuroLeague, where every team wants to be in the playoffs, where every game matters, and you might make a coaching change even for a short-term effect. You're not building a team like in the NBA where the coach is, let's say, growing together with the roster. So, I don't know, man. I think Erdem is a promising head coach, and I wouldn't want to see him losing his job. And of course, they're losing games. It doesn't help in the standings. You look at the standings and you see that Efes is kind of far away from the top 6, and you're thinking about the play-in at best. But honestly, I'm out, and it has nothing to do with Itoudis. Or you could throw any other name like Itoudis, Parasovic, any other coach that could be considered. Like, I would like to see Erdem keeping his job, and that's it.
I'm out too, to be honest. I'm out too, and I've already said it on Twitter. But just, do you know how many players have suited and played for Efes in the EuroLeague for at least one game?
You mean different players?
Different players that have played at least one game for Efes.
18 maybe?
16?
17.
17.
Okay.
17 players. Valencia have 19.
How many played all games, actually?
2 guys.
Wow, 2 guys.
Shane Larkin and Darius Thompson are the only guys who played 20 games. Tyreek Jones, 19. He missed...
He injured his shoulder in Madrid.
Yeah, he missed yesterday's game. Then after this, we have Rodrigue Bourbois at 16 only, and Justus Hall at 15.
But he's playing 8 minutes per game, so
yeah.
we're actually talking
player.
about 4 core players that played most of the games. And others, they basically almost miss 50% of the games.
Yeah, Will has
and
played...
And we're talking about important players like Will Clyburn, before it was Ante Žižić, Derek Willis, Elijah Bryant, Tibor Plyce. So... I agree that definitely Efes's wins and losses are below their standard, below what they have on the roster. But you can't ignore the fact of how many injured guys they have. You can't ignore the fact of how many players are coming and going from this team. Like, they have guys that played only in the domestic league in this season. Like Daniel Oturu, fantastic signing. He's played 9 games in the EuroLeague for them. But he was playing in the Turkish domestic league just this season. Derek Willis is coming from the Euro Cup. He had to play center position yesterday against Matthias Lesort because after missing like a few weeks of action.
Dan Oturu gets a second foul in the first quarter, gets a technical on top of that. EuroLeague did not show us what he said or did. I did not really understand that technical foul. But all of a sudden it's Derek Willis against Matthias Lesort in the post. What can you do? The help has to come, and Marius Grigonis all of a sudden is making 3-pointers. Yes, they have some problems. Defensively, sometimes they lacked yesterday, but against Real Madrid, they were great. I just, think that Erdem Can is having that Šarūnas Jasikevičius type of moment in Žalgiris when Žalgiris lost 9 games
In a row.
in a row. Efes haven't lost that many games in a row, but I think they're struggling. But from what I've seen, he has all the right things. He has his players playing hard. He has great sets. Some people were mentioning that, okay, but he's taking off good players when they're hot. Yeah, maybe he does that sometimes because, like I said about Charas, you make one mistake that you make one big mistake and he's going to sub you. But I think Efes have to be patient with this coach. I think he has a great future, and taking into consideration what they went through this season, I'm also out of Itoudis replacing Itoudis or any other coach replacing Erdem Can.
To be fair, we shouldn't even talk about Itoudis. We should just be talking whether we're in or out about the coaching change in Efes, because it's kind of unfair to Dimitris Itoudis to talk about him when he actually has nothing to do with it. It's just a rumor being spread.
And at the same time, the reason that Itoudis is free is something that actually inspires teams to think and consider coaching changes.